where we had stopped. What and all we had discussed, just to brief up. We spoke about the Hilbert transforms, which converts a given function in time domain to the 90-degree phase lag version of the same signal in time domain itself. It will not change the domain, but it will give us the 90-degree phase lagged version of the signal. That is denoted as x cap of t. And in order to do this, we'll pass the signal through a filter or a circuit known as the Hilbert transformer, whose impulse response is h of t, and the job of this Hilbert transformer is to give a 90-degree phase lag, minus pi by 2 phase lag. So we assume this h of f to be minus j signum of f, and we showed what is the value of x cap of t. We showed that x cap of t would be x of t convolved with 1 by pi t. This is the result which we got when we started with our assumption of the filter transfer function h of f. So any circuit which needs to give 90-degree phase lag can be assumed with the value minus j. J means pi by 2, minus j means minus pi by 2. And why do I multiply it with the function signum of f? Because the signum of f is one which gives you the value plus 1 for positive and minus 1 for negative. So it will perfectly suit this function. And after assuming this, we took the Fourier transform, the inverse Fourier transform, and all that. And we were able to show that minus j signum of f will have its inverse Fourier transform as 1 by pi t, or 1 by pi t and minus j signum of f are Fourier transform pairs. That's why the Hilbert transform of a given signal is convolution of the given signal into 1 by pi t. We saw this. This is how we represent the convolution integral x of tau into 1 by pi t minus tau d tau. This is in the time domain. In the frequency domain, the same signal can be written as x cap of f, which is the Fourier transform of the Hilbert transformed signal. So the Fourier transform of the Hilbert transformed signal is the given signal's Fourier transform x of f multiplied with the Fourier transform of the filter h of f. We had already assumed h of f as minus j signum of f. So x cap of f is given as minus j signum of f x of f. Please remember these two basic equations for the time domain expression and the frequency domain expression of the Hilbert transformed signals. Then we went for mathematical representation. Before this, we actually spoke about what is a low pass signal, a signal which lies in the vicinity of zero frequency, and very often including the zero frequency is known as low pass signal. And any signal which lies in the vicinity, so low pass is something which looks like this, which includes zero and signals close to zero, and a band pass signal is something which lies at a higher frequency, usually known as carrier frequency. And if this bandwidth of this signal, which is 2 times W, if that bandwidth is much less than the center frequency, which is the carrier frequency of the signal, then we call it as a narrow band signal. This is a narrow band signal. Overall, this represents band pass signal. This represents low pass signal. So now we wanted mathematical equations for low pass and band pass, for which we considered definition of some more mathematical quantities. One is the pre-envelope. So what is this pre-envelope? Pre-envelope of a signal is denoted as G plus of t for positive frequencies, which usually we use this definition only, most commonly used one. which is the given signal g of t plus j times the Hilbert transform of the signal g cap of t. So pre-envelope is a complex signal whose real part is the given signal and whose imaginary part is the Hilbert transform of the signal. Then we tried to get the representation in frequency domain. See, this is the representation. We showed that this g plus of t, which gets converted to g plus of f, will have only those components with positive frequencies. So you can see the equation here on the right hand side. G plus of f is 2 times g of f for f greater than 0, and it is g of 0 at f equal to 0 and 0 for negative. Similarly, we represented g minus of f like this, which exists only for negative frequencies. Next, we moved on to right, and I told you pre-envelope is something which is usually written to define a band pass signal. So pre-envelope is often used to define a band pass signal, whereas complex envelope is used to represent a low pass signal. So we will try to relate this complex envelope. First, define what is this complex envelope, relate it to the pre-envelope of the signal, and then see how to represent. So given signal here is taken as S of t. So we have considered the given input signal as S of t, and we have considered it as a narrow band signal. As you can see here, the S of f, the Fourier transform of the signal, its magnitude response is shown. And I told you we'll consider it narrow band when its bandwidth is very small when compared to the center frequency Fc. Okay. So we had considered this, and then we defined this term known as the complex envelope. How do we represent this complex envelope? It is represented as S tilde of t. It's a tilde function also, which looks like envelope. So S tilde of t is related to the pre-envelope S plus of t into e power minus j2 pi fct. So we saw this is how we could relate the complex envelope and the pre-envelope. And then we took the inverse, we took the Fourier transform of this. Since this is in time domain, we converted. Why do we do this conversion to frequency domain? So that we'll be able to draw the magnitude spectra and see what exactly happens. You can visualize this signal only when you go to the frequency domain. Okay. So when you go to the frequency domain and draw the spectra of these signal, you will get the actual visualization of what is happening. You will get the visualization of what is the meaning of this complex envelope and pre-envelope and all that. So here we have shown that in the frequency domain, the complex envelope of the signal is the left shifted version of its pre-envelope, S plus of f plus fc, which is the left shifted version of the pre-envelope. And in the pictorial representation for this spectrum, S of f is the spectrum of the given signal, the first one. Its pre-envelope will have only what? The magnitude spectrum at positive frequencies. It doesn't exist at negative. This represents the bandpass signal at positive frequencies only. The magnitude would be doubled usually. Finally, the complex envelope is this pre-envelope left shifted by a factor of Fc. So we'll get a low pass signal. Hence, you can clearly understand the complex envelope of a given signal is the low pass version of the band pass signal. So the pre-envelope represents the band pass signal, and the complex envelope gives us the low pass equivalent of the band pass signal. So please remember all these things. I hope you don't have any doubts with this. If there is nothing, then I'll proceed with the next topic. Let me say the next topic is canonical representation. Canonical representation of a bandpass signal. So all of us know what is canonical representation. We have written it commonly. Anybody can tell me what is canonical representation? Usually when we write it in the rectangular form and when we include sines and cosines in the mathematical representation, it is known as the canonical representation. If you remember last time, we had written this noise as the in-phase component into cos and what? The quadrature component of noise into sine. This was the canonical representation of narrowband noise. Right? You remember this? Last time we had used this. The narrowband noise signal was represented in canonical form as, if you want, rather than writing just ni, we can write n of t cos 2 pi fct minus n of t sin 2 pi fct, or you can write it like this. Anyway, so something similar to this representation. This is the exact same representation which we are going to derive. Okay. So consider a given given bandpass signal S of t whose pre-envelope is S plus of t and complex envelope CE. Complex envelope is S till of t. So the given bandpass signal is S of t. Its pre-envelope is given as S plus of t and its complex envelope is given as S till of t. Now we know the relation between pre-envelope and complex envelope. Now we know that what? The complex envelope of the signal is pre-envelope of the signal into e to the power of minus j2 pi fct. We have already written this equation before. Yes or no? See, so we already know how the complex envelope is related to the pre-envelope. If I want the writing this equation in the reverse order, therefore we can write, I want the pre-envelope written in terms of complex envelope. What do you think will happen? I want to isolate this pre-envelope. So what should I do? Multiply the equation throughout with e power plus j2 pi fct. What would happen then? The left hand side will become s till of t into e power j2 pi fct. The right side will become s plus of t into e power minus j2 pi fct into e power plus j2 pi fct. So plus and minus, this will become 1. That's how you can get an expression for s plus of t. Okay. So we are multiplying the equation throughout with e power plus j2 pi fct. So I'll be able to get the expression for the pre-envelope in terms of complex envelope. What is this equation number 11? Okay. So this is equation 11. Now using this, can I define also, we know that the given signal S of t. How can I define the given signal S of t if I know its pre-envelope? See, I know the pre-envelope of the signal. From that, how could you isolate the actual signal? What should I use? Which function? Can somebody tell me? Okay, at least tell me what is S plus of t in terms of the given signal S of t. What is the relation? Please speak up. I told you you should practice, otherwise there is no use. The representation of a given bandpass signal as a pre-envelope is, it's a complex valued signal. So its value is S of t plus j times S cap of t. So how do I write what is j S of t here? What would S of t be given S plus of t? It would be just the real part. Yes or no? S of t, the given signal, represents only the real part of the pre-envelope S plus of t. Please understand this. This is what we write as the expression for the pre-envelope. Therefore, the given signal S of t will be real part of its pre-envelope. Can I substitute equation 11 here? So using equation 11 in 12, what do you get? S plus of t is real part of S envelope of t into e to the power of j2 pi fct. Okay. I hope I'm clear till this point. Please ask if you have any doubts. Is this clear? If you don't answer for anything, how would I know? Please interact. I told you, first of all, online class, it's difficult for me to know whether you're listening, whether you're following and all that. You have to answer when something is asked. Okay, which part you want me to repeat? See here. We are trying to, I hope you understood till what we did in the last class, right? Canonical representation of bandpass signal. Here, please listen carefully. A bandpass signal, we have considered a given bandpass signal as S of t. It's just a given signal. You can just consider a given signal S of t. The pre-envelope of that signal is S plus of t, and complex envelope of this signal is S till of t. We have already defined the relationship between complex envelope and pre-envelope in the last class. S complex envelope is given as pre-envelope into e power minus j2 pi fct. Okay, so we had already defined this. Next, suppose I want to isolate the pre-envelope and write it in terms of complex envelope. All what I have to do is just multiply this equation with e power j2 pi fct. When I did this multiplication, my left hand side becomes S envelope of t into a power plus j2 pi fct, and the right hand side becomes S plus of t into e power minus j2 pi fct into e power plus j2 pi fct. These two will cancel and become 1. So right hand side is left with pre-envelope and the left hand side is left like this. It's like we are just writing a reverse of this equation, nothing else. Now we have written this equation 11, and I already know what is the definition of pre-envelope of the given signal S plus of t. It is nothing but the given signal as the real part plus Hilbert transform of the signal as the imaginary part. This is what we started. Today also I started telling what is the definition of pre-envelope. Pre-envelope of the signal has given signal as its real part and the Hilbert transform of the signal as its imaginary part. So, if I know the pre-envelope of a signal, how would I get the actual signal? The actual signal represents only the real part of its pre-envelope, right? So, the actual signal is real part of the pre-envelope. So, we are writing it like this. And what is the expression for pre-envelope? It is complex envelope into e power j 2 pi fct, which I have written. I hope it is clear. Okay, till this point we have written. In the next step, I will just expand this. I'll keep this still as it is. What could I write e power j 2 pi fct in terms of cos and sine? E power j theta can be written as cos theta plus j sine theta. We call this as the canonical representation. Yes or no? E power j theta, when we write it in terms of cos theta plus j sine theta, it is called canonical representation. Okay. Now we have expanded this part e power j theta. Now I will write an expansion of the complex envelope S till of t. Also, the complex envelope S till of t, sorry, yeah, S till of t can be written as, remember this is also a complex valued signal. It is a complex valued signal, also known as an analytical signal. Can you tell me how do we represent a complex valued signal? It will always have a real part and an imaginary part. Please remember, any complex valued signal will always have a real part and an imaginary part. And let me call this equation 15, where Si of t represents the real part and Sq of t represents the imaginary part. And one more thing is, if S till of t is an analytic signal, we call it by the name analytic signal. Any of you remember what did I tell happens in an analytic signal? The complex part will be what? The Hilbert transform of the real part. Whenever the complex part of a given complex valued signal is Hilbert transform of its real part, we call such a signal as analytic signal. So please understand, a given signal is a complex signal, means it is written as real part plus imaginary part. And if that complex signal is also analytic in nature, then its imaginary part would be equal to Hilbert transform of its real part. So please remember this. Okay. So what do I do next? I will take what is this? Equation 15 and substitute it in equation 14. Do it using equation 15 in equation 14. What do you get? I am trying to find the canonical representation of the signal, given signal. It would be the real part of, for S envelope of t, I will write this equation. Si of t plus j times Sq of t into cos 2 pi fct, cos 2 pi fct plus j sine 2 pi FCT. Can you multiply this and tell me what will you get? Do the multiplication. SI of t into cos 2 pi FCT, and let me multiply the second terms together. Plus j square means it will be minus j into j square is minus 1, so plus j square is minus 1 into SQ of t sin 2 pi FCT, right? Next I'll have the imaginary part plus j into SQ of t cos 2 pi FCT, SQ of t cos 2 pi FCT plus j sin 2 pi FCT into SI plus SI of t sin 2 pi FCT. This will be the complete product of these two signals. Yes or no? Now, if I take out the real part, what will I get? Which is the real part in this? This gives you the real part. Yes or no? And this is the imaginary part. So what is the given signal? The given signal is only real part of the total equation. Therefore, S of t is represented as SI of t cos 2 pi FCT minus SQ of t sin 2 pi FCT. This gives you the canonical representation of any band pass signal. So this gives canonical representation of any of a band pass signal. Please understand, based on this only we wrote the expression for narrowband noise. If you remember, narrowband noise was considered as a band pass signal. So it would be considered as Ni cos 2 pi FCT minus Nq sin 2 pi FCT. And how did we write this equation? Last time you simply assumed. This time we are showing how it will be obtained. Okay. If you want, you can say the best example is the narrowband noise. The narrowband noise signal gives you the best example. It is represented as Ni cos 2 pi FCT minus Nq sin 2 pi FCT. This is the expression for narrowband noise. Is that clear? Call this equation number 16. So we got the canonical representation of a bandpass signal in terms of in-phase component into cosine and quadrature phase component into sine. And remember one thing, this quadrature component is nothing but the Hilbert transform of the in-phase component. I already showed you SQ of t is what? SI cap of t, Hilbert transform of the in-phase component. Please remember that factor. Now, let us try to draw the phasors for all these signals. So, let me say phasor representation. So, next, let me consider the phasor. It was asked in some of the exams. Phasor representation of the pre-envelope and complex envelope of a signal. So let's try to draw this. Recall all the equations. By now, writing the equation so many times, you should be familiar. What is the relation between S plus of t and S envelope of t? S plus of t should be S till of t into e power j2 pi fct. Now, also, what is s till of t in terms of its in phase and quadrature phase? I can write it as si of t plus j times sq of t. So let me call this equation 1, equation 2. Therefore, I can also write this. Sorry, let me write s plus of t. Therefore, s plus of t is si of t plus j sq of t. To replace this complex envelope into e power plus j2 pi fct. Okay, so using these, let's try to draw the phasors for all these signal. Okay, so first let me try to draw the phasor of this becomes easier. So phasor of the complex envelope S till of t. So here, which is the in phase and which is the quadrature phase component? The in phase component is Si of t, which will be along the x-axis. The quadrature phase component is Sq of t. I hope all of you remember the vector or phasor diagram, right? You'll draw the length of this x-axis to match the magnitude of Si of t, and the length of the y-axis should match the magnitude of Sq of t. Now, what is the resultant of these two? That is your S till of t. How do I find the magnitude? What will be the magnitude of S till of t from this equation? If I have a complex equation a plus jb, what is the magnitude value? Yes? What is the magnitude of this? It will be in the form please answer.
Of a square plus b square.
Root of a square plus b square. So what is the magnitude function here? The magnitude here will be root of si square plus sq square. And what is the phase? What is the phase of this function? Tan inverse quadrature component by in phase component. Yes or no? So how would I draw the resultant of these two? It would be a new phasor with magnitude value. The length of this phasor would be si square plus sq square. I have just left out t. It is understood, it is there. And the angle which it makes with the horizontal is tan inverse sq by si. Is this clear? So this gives me the phasor representation of the complex envelope of the signal S till of t. Any doubts with this? Is it clear? Similarly, let me write what is the phasor of, how do I represent the phasor of e power j2 pi? See the second term in this equation. The first term in the pre-envelope was the complex envelope, which we have already written. The second term is e power plus j2 pi fct. How would you write that? How would you represent the phasor? As usual, you have the imaginary axis and you have the real axis. Yes or no? And then, how would you draw this phasor? This phasor would be of length 1, the magnitude of this e power j theta is 1, and the angle which it makes with the real axis is theta. What is theta? 2 pi fct. In this case, this is theta or 2 pi fct. So whenever I draw the phasor for e power j theta, it is a straight line of length 1 and it will make an angle 2 pi fct with the real axis. Is this clear? So we have written the two parts of this equation 1 as phasors. Now let me write the phasor for s plus of t. How do you get the phasor for x plus of t? It is combination of these two. You multiply this phasor with this phasor, you should be getting the phasor for s plus of t. Let me draw it below. Therefore, phasor for s plus of t can be drawn as usual, I have the real axis, I have the imaginary axis. You will see why I'll draw it like this. Okay, the real and imaginary axis are there. Now, first I'll have to write this e power j2 pi fct phasor. So the e power j2 pi fct phasor makes an angle 2 pi fct. It makes an angle 2 pi fct with the horizontal. So I'll consider this as the basis. This is of magnitude 1. Now I'll overlap this complex envelope phasor, this phasor. Okay, the complex envelope phasor is overlapped onto this. That's how. So I just have to overlap the first phasor which we drew over this phasor. So what I'll do, I'll consider this as the real axis now. So this phasor which is for e power, this is the phasor for e power j2 pi fct. This will rotate about the origin, right? And it has made an angle theta 2 pi fct with the real axis. Now I'll bring this and overlap it on this. So this will become what? The in phase axis, and I have to now consider, sorry, the quadrature. I have to consider the signal which makes an angle 90 degree. This should make an angle 90 degree with the in phase. This would be the quadrature phase. So here the in phase channel is merged on this line, which represents the e power j2 pi fct, and the quadrature channel of this complex envelope is taken as 90 degree phase shifted version of this. Now the resultant of these two, we'll consider the resultant of these two will be somewhere here. This makes an angle tan inverse sq by si with the SI axis. Remember, this angle tan inverse SQ by SI is made with this SI axis, which is same as e power j2 pi fct, and the magnitude of this phasor will be root of SI square plus SQ square. Now, it is this phasor. So, it is this phasor which represents what? The pre-envelope S plus of t. Why is it this phasor which represents the pre-envelope? What is S plus of t? the pre-envelope S plus of t is complex envelope into e power j2 pi fct. So we have drawn the phasor of complex envelope separately. We have drawn the phasor of e power j2 pi fct separately. And finally, we have drawn the phasor for the pre-envelope by overlapping complex envelope phasor on the e power j theta phasor, which is now written like this. Is it clear? So this represents the complex envelope, the pre-envelope. This pre-envelope makes an angle 2 pi fct plus tan inverse sq by si with the real axis. Please see here the combined angle which this phasor makes. Okay, so if I have to show what is angle of S plus of t, it will be tan inverse SQ by SI plus 2 pi FCT with real axis. Whatever is the angle it's making, it's the sum of these two. And then what is the magnitude of S plus of t? The magnitude of S plus of t is SI square plus SQ square. Is this clear? Any doubts with drawing this phasor diagram? Please ask if you have any doubts in any of the things what we have discussed. So all what we have discussed today is to write the canonical representation of a bandpass signal. Any bandpass signal we showed could be written in terms of in-phase component cos 2 pi fct minus quadrature phase component into sin 2 pi fct. We could write any bandpass signal in its canonical form like this. This is called the canonical form. And we showed the best example was the noise signal which we wrote. Since the noise signal is a narrow banded signal, it could easily be written in canonical form as in-phase component Ni cos 2 pi fct minus quadrature phase component NQ into sin 2 pi fct. Okay. Next, we moved on to show the phasor representation of the complex envelope and real envelope. So we wrote the relation between the pre-envelope and the complex envelope, and we wrote the expansion of complex envelope, and we could write the phasor for complex envelope first. Then we wrote the phasor for the e power j theta. This will be a rotating phasor which will rotate about this origin. Okay. And then we overlapped, since we need the product of these two, we overlapped the complex envelope phasor on the phasor of e power j2 pi fct, which helped us get the resultant as the pre-envelope. So this represents the phasor for a pre-envelope of the signal. Is this clear? Please answer.
Yes.
Okay. Next, um, to represent mm, what Si of t and Sq of t. To find what type of signals these are. To find their type. Whether Si and St will be band pass or low pass. Let's try to find Si and Sq. We have said S envelope is what? Si plus Sq. J times Sq, yes or no? So we know this. So in order to find this, what was S of t? Si cos 2 pi fct minus Sq sin 2 pi fct. I'll directly take that. Okay. Si cos 2 pi fct minus SQ sine 2 pi FCT. So this is the canonical representation of the given bandpass signal. Let me directly take this and multiply it with 2 cos 2 pi FCT. Do the multiplication. What do you get? 2 S of t cos 2 pi FCT on the left hand side. On the right hand side, what will I get? Twice Si of t cos square 2 pi FCT minus twice SQ of t sine 2 pi FCT. One second. Could you multiply? Tell me what do you get? 2 pi FCT into cos 2 pi FCT. What would this be? Mute yourself, Vishnu. Vishnu.
H2.
Okay, you just multiply. What do you get here? 2 Si of t. How do I represent cos square theta? 1 plus cos 2 theta. So cos 4 pi FCT by 2. Yes or no? Cos square theta. We know that cos square theta can be written as 1 plus cos 2 theta by 2. Because cos 2 theta is 2 cos square theta minus 1. Right? So we know all these trigonometric relations. Similarly, 2 SQ of t. What is sine theta into cos theta written as? Sine theta into cos theta can be written as what? Sine 2 theta by 2. Sine 4 pi FCT by 2. Yes or no? Because sine theta into cos theta can be written as sine 2 theta by 2. Sine 2 theta is 2 sine theta into cos theta. All these things we know, simple trigonometric relations, and we have used it extensively in PCS. So please don't forget these things. All what I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to isolate this SI of t to show what type of signal it is. So how we can isolate, we'll see. So now you just multiply, and I hope you understood what happens to this 2. This 2 gets cancelled with this. Here also 2 gets cancelled. That's the reason I multiplied with 2 cos 2 pi FCT. If you had multiplied with just cos 2 pi FCT, you would have retained this by 2. I wanted this 2 to get cancelled. So I'll get this SI of t directly instead of SI of t by 2 plus this will be SI of t cos 4 pi FCT and this will be SQ of t sine 4 pi FCT. Okay. So we have the right hand side of this equation becomes SI of t into 1 plus SI of t cos 4 pi FCT minus SQ of t sine 4 pi FCT. So can you tell me how will I extract only SI of t in this? If you look at the 3 signals which is there, it is clear that SI of t can be extracted by using a low pass filter by using a low pass filter with bandwidth greater than that of the bandwidth of Si of t. Si of t, whatever was the signal bandwidth, it would be same as that. So if you use a low pass filter, remember this is not multiplied with any carrier. Whereas here in the second case, the carrier used is 2fc, and in this case also the signal is at frequency 2fc. So ideally, if you write this in the spectrum, it will look like this. This Si of t will be situated here, okay, surrounding 0. You see, because there is no carrier. Whereas this signal Si of t will be what? Located at 2fc. Si of t cos 4 pi fct means this signal gets shifted to the point 2fc. Similarly, SQ of t is also located. Remember, since this is multiplied with sine, it will have a different spectrum. So this Si and SQ, which are located at 2fc, if I want to eliminate them and just isolate Si, I'll surely have to use a low pass filter. So what does that indicate? This indicates that Si of t is a low pass signal. Si of t is a low pass signal. Similarly, if I have to isolate Sq of t from the equation, what should I do? Can somebody tell me? You have this equation. S of t is Si cos 2 pi fct minus Sq sin 2 pi fct. This is the representation for S of t. If I want to isolate this, can you tell me what should I multiply? Like what we did here, what did we multiply with? We multiplied this with 2 cos 2 pi fct. Here, what should I multiply with? Any idea?